Maya is illusion, that is Maya relating to body and astral soul. It manifests on earth in astral and the Platonian dual soul and the soul. So the body and astral are dual souls. That is what Plato said. Physical soul, the astral soul. They are the dual soul of Plato, and it manifests on earth, and the soul which is related to the spirit. There are three. That is the three Trinity or Maya. One is physical body that has got a soul. This is what they believe. The astral body has got a soul. These two souls, the physical and the astral, they die. They understand? The physical soul dies, and also the astral soul also will die. Soul not in relation to the spirit, but they're talking about a soul for the body and for the astral body also, for the physical body and astral body also. And that is the dual soul as proposed by Plato. And the soul of the spirit, that is eternal. What we saw some time back, soul is eternal, immortality. A man should extinguish his passions, unite and identify with the law. This is what the Buddhists believe. A man should extinguish his passions, unite and identify with the law. Passions are desires in extreme way in which he has carried forward his desires. They become part of his life. They are troubling him a lot. So they are passions, passion for food, passions for so many things which are of a greater degree than ordinary desires. Desires, when compounded, when again they have had experience of that, it has become a passion. So a man should extinguish his passions, the desire, the ardent desires the man has to satisfy his bodily urges, everything. All those passions should go. A man should extinguish his passions, unite and identify with the law. That is teaching in the secret doctrine of Buddhism. This is the secret doctrine of Buddhism. This is within brackets. So when the man completely gets rid of his passions and desires, and then gets united and identifies with the law, means follows all the great law, components or teachings of that law, that is teachings of the secret doctrine of Buddhism, and comprehend the religion of annihilation. You should also understand how the Buddhist belief is there about annihilation, means destroying. What gets destroyed, they really have a theory for it. So a man should extinguish his passions, unite and identify with the law. That law, as we have seen some time back, has been pronounced by Lord Buddha himself. And that is the teaching which is mentioned in the secret doctrine of Buddhism. Here it is not referring to the secret doctrine of Madame Blavatsky. The secret doctrine means not all secrets were given to all the people even in Buddhism. Certain things which only few people knew, that was kept as a secret. That doctrine which is kept a secret was called secret doctrine. That is of Buddhism. So this is what they're talking about. Extinguish one's passions, unite and identify with the great law, and comprehend the religion of annihilation. What exactly annihilation means? What the religion is talking about annihilation. Now, the discussion goes on. What gets annihilated? What gets annihilated? What gets destroyed? Is the visible and invisible body made of matter. What is the visible body and what is invisible body? Sometime back we talked about the physical body and the astral body. There is a physical soul and the astral soul. So what is visible is physical, what is invisible is astral. So what gets annihilated is the visible and invisible body made of matter. Both physical and astral, both bodies are made of matter. Physical matter is the component of the physical body. The astral matter is the component of the astral body. So the matter which is composed in both cases is matter, but one is thinner and one is grosser. The grosser is physical, the thinner is astral. So what gets annihilated is the visible and invisible body made of matter. The matter survives in astral in sublime form. The matter survives in astral in sublime form, very thin compared to physical. So physical body has the physical form. It is very feelable and touchable and all that, because we know what grossness is all about. And here it is being mentioned, the matter which is there in astral is sublimated form, meaning very thin compared to physical. Sublime. Sublime also means very pure and perfect, but sublimated means very thin compared to physical. The shape or form gets to a stage of perishing. So the shape or form gets to a stage of perishing. Whenever there is a form, the physical body has a form, physical body has a shape. So it moves towards the stage of perishing. That is annihilation. So the shape or form gets to a stage of perishing because of the passing of time. The particular form becomes vulnerable, and so it perishes. The shape or form gets to a shape of perishing, stage of perishing, sorry. The shape or form gets to a stage, gets to a position of perishing. So form is perishable. Form is perishable. Anything which has a form, anything which has a form is perishable. Formless, it could be spirit. If there is a form, it must be matter. Formless could be spirit. So whatever is form, whatever is the form which is based upon matter, that has to perish. So form is perishable, referring to an old treatise in Buddhism, an old book in Buddhism. HBB quotes, Buddha and his followers say, eternity has neither a beginning nor an end. So this is a statement which they often repeat. HBB is quoting Buddha and an old treatise which is mentioned in the Buddhism, and says, eternity has neither a beginning nor an end. Eternity means it's always there. So question of birth of being eternal and end of being eternal is not there. So that being the case, eternity has neither a beginning nor an end. Adyantamulu lenidi antanga. Something which is always there. There is no beginning, there is no end. So that is eternity. And matter in its essence before it took a form is not perishable. This is, of course, we have seen some time back also. Matter in its essence before it took the form is not perishable. We cannot destroy matter because it gets into some other form and is surviving. Suppose I have a bottle with me, I break the bottle becomes the pieces of bottle. That piece also I keep on crushing, it becomes particles of glass. So that glass also I keep on smashing, it becomes small particles of glass. So question of completely wishing away or seeing that the matter is not reduced to nil or no matter is not there. So this is something which is being talked about. HPP quotes Buddha and says eternity has neither a beginning nor an end. Matter is in its essence. Matter in its essence means what it is made of. Before it took a form is not perishable. And it is also not changeable. You can't change the form. You cannot smash it and see that the matter is not there. So we cannot destroy the form. We cannot destroy the matter, I'm sorry. Form can be destroyed. So I'll get back to this similarities pointed out between Pythagorean philosophy and Buddha. And almost all other religions of Christianity and Brahmanical and faithfully everybody is reflecting Pythagorean philosophy, saying that there is a universal mind and that mind is getting diffused into everything and it becomes part of everything. That was the thing. Buddha says, whosoever is ignorant of law, if he dies, and that person will come back to earth to become perfect. This is something which is followed even in Sanatana Dharma. To achieve this, man should destroy the Trinity of Maya. He should destroy the Trinity of Maya. Maya is illusion, that is Maya relating to body, astral, physical body and astral body. It manifests on earth in astral and physical, the Platonian dual soul. That is how it is described. And the soul or the spirit of the soul. A man should extinguish his passions. A man should extinguish his passions, unite and identify with the law. How exactly the Trinity Maya should be overcome? Because it says he should destroy the Trinity of Maya. That's what, to achieve this, man should destroy the Trinity of Maya. That has been mentioned. But yes, we can definitely work on the physical body. We can also work on the astral body. But what is the third one? It's not very clear. But as for the book, they say the third is the spirit, the soul. And that I don't think we can do anything with it. That can only be perhaps be cleansed, because the life we have led on the earth, that can only add to the value of the soul. So that's what the thing we can take place. But what is this Trinity Maya? Destroying the Trinity of Maya is not properly explained here. Maya, we know, is illusion. That is Maya related to the physical body and astral body. We imagine that those bodies are very real, but these two bodies definitely can be managed, can be overcome. So it manifests on earth in astral body and physical body. This is what has been described by Plato as dual soul. And the other soul, which is the spirit, the Chaitanya, which is in the body, which is always alive, that's immortal. A man should extinguish his passions, unite and identify with the law, the great law. He should identify, only then he has relief. He can be part of the whole godly feeling he will get, or he will raise his level to the godly nature. When he extinguishes his passions, unites and identifies with the law, then he becomes part of the universal spirit. And then HPB says now we should talk about, understand what is annihilation. Annihilation is destruction. What gets annihilated is the visible and the invisible body made of matter. Visible body is physical, invisible body is astral. So both get annihilated. And the matter in astral is sublimated form, very thin compared to physical, is the information given. The shape or form gets to a stage of perishing. Whenever there is a form, whenever there is a shape, it moves to a stage of perishing. So form is perishable. Referring to an old treatise in Buddhism, HPB quotes Buddha and says, eternity has neither a beginning nor an end. Matter in its essence, before it took a form, is not perishable. Matter, before it took a form, is not perishable. And it is also not changeable. Matter, before it took a form, is not perishable. And it is also not changeable. I'm repeating because matter per se is not destroyable, but the form is destroyable. This is what we have to understand. Form gets destroyed. Shape gets destroyed. Matter cannot be destroyed, cannot be even changed, she says. But yes, when a bottle is there, broken into pieces, pieces again have been crushed, small particles of glass, and then thin particles of glass. Of course, there is a change which is taking place, but glass remains glass. So that is what is matter before it took a shape of a bottle. That bottle form can be perhaps destroyed, but not the matter with which the glass is made. So this is what it means. I gave an example of bottle. How good it is, I won't know. But I only want you to understand the form, the shape are perishable. Matter, before it assumed the shape or resumed the shape of a form, is not perishable, not even changeable. So basic structure of matter, primitive, the nature of matter as it is revolved cannot be changed. So basic structure of matter, primitive, the nature of matter as it is. Evolved means how matter came into being. That matter cannot be destroyed. How the matter came into being, how it got evolved, that matter cannot be destroyed. If that matter has taken a form, that form can get destroyed. It will convert again into matter. So the basic matter, the primitive matter, the nature of matter as it is in the primitive stage cannot be changed. So this is something which Buddhists are talking about in their treatise. Matter is revealed in its highest form it appears as ether. Matter is revealed in its highest form, it appears as ether. So matter in its thinnest form, physical matter, the astral matter, and then as you keep moving above, the matter is revealed in its highest form, it appears as ether. Etheric double, isn't it? Etheric double is also matter, but it is thin variety. It's not physical. It's not as feelable as physical body. Matter is revealed in its highest form. It appears as ether. It is luminous ether. That ether has got a lot of light shining about it. Ether full of light. So this is something which we need to make a note. Normally, etheric body has a light. It says the body has a sort of violet form. But then here she is saying it is luminous ether, not luminative. It is luminous ether. After ether full of light, matter can be physical. It can take the shape of liquid. Still matter is there in it. Liquid, when heated into vapor, even then the matter is there. There is still the presence of matter in that liquid, different form. So this is how he's describing the ether is one of the highest, thinnest form of matter. Ether not to be understood as space void of forms, but a place which is the foundation of all forms. So this is a distinction she is making. Ether is not to be understood as space void of forms. So if you imagine ether as a place where there is complete vacuum or void, there is nothing there, that is not the ether we are talking about. She says ether not to be understood as space or void of forms, means forms are not there. That's not the way you have to understand ether, but a place which is the foundation of all forms. All the forms get formed there. The shape of the form is only manufactured there or organized there, and then it becomes grosser and grosser and grosser. So ether not to be understood as a space void of forms, but a place which is the foundation of all forms. All the forms' foundation or the beginning is there in the ether. That's the ether we are talking about. We're not talking about space which is void of forms, which is full of vacuum. We're not talking about that ether. And maybe it is a storehouse of all anterior forms, forms which have a past. Interior, anterior. Anterior means forms which have a past. So all those forms which are not there now, even those forms are there in the ether. The forms which will come into being in future, all the foundation of the future forms, they're also part of ether. So ether is a storehouse for the older past forms and also the future forms. So ether is not to be understood as vacuum or a space void of forms, but a place which has the foundation for all forms, and maybe the storehouse of all anterior forms, forms which have a past. So all those forms are kept there, the past ones, the future ones, the present ones. But it is said when a form is the outer cover, when the form is formed, the outer cover, form is the outer cover, essence is hidden in it. Oh, this is how it is. I'm sorry. But it is said, form is the outer cover, essence is hidden in it. So the whatever exactly is the content is hidden, and the form is only an outer shell. That's what is being meant. But it is said, when a form is formed, why this form is formed? I don't know what it means. But it is said when a form is formed, means when the form takes a shape, when it is formed, it is the beginning of Maya. Okay. It is said when the form is formed or when it is being formed, it is the beginning of Maya. This is what the Buddhists are believing. When the form is there, because the essence we are not able to see, essence is hidden in it, the form is not the real thing. That is the Maya. Form is Maya. So when form is getting into shape, when the shape is happening, that is the beginning of Maya, is what Buddhists are saying. So now I guess it is clear. It is said when a form is being formed. That means the process of form coming into birth. That is the beginning of Maya. Why? Because the outer cover is the form, the inner essence is hidden in it. So the outer cover is not the real thing. There is an essence within it. The essence is the real thing. We are not able to see the essence. So the outer cover is a Maya. That's the Maya, illusion. So form covers the real essence. Now wait. Form covers the real essence. So the essence, which is most important, most relevant, is covered by form. And the formation of form, maybe we're using the form too much, but the formation of form or the structuring of the form is the beginning of Maya. Whatever is produced as work or as a form of nature, it is nothing before the uncreated being, that spirit which has not manifested, which is the root cause of everything. Before the uncreated being means unmanifest, before anything has taken shape, it is in the form of unmanifest. Before that uncreated being, that spirit which has not manifested, it is in a stage of, prior to the stage of manifestation. At that time, the spirit which has not manifested, which is the root cause of everything, that spirit which has not taken any form for that matter, before it became manifested, there is a state for it. That is the spirit content of it. That state is the root cause for everything. So we have to understand the unmanifested matter before it became some form or the other. That spirit is the root cause for every form or everything. That is the root cause for everything. So unmanifested spirit. The manifested spirit is available in all the forms. But unmanifested spirit, when it is there, that is the root cause for all the forms and all the things. And this unmanifested spirit, which is the root cause of everything, and the root cause of everything, when all this is forming part of that being, say for example, when every form is withdrawn into that being, all motion must cease forever. This is the root cause of everything. It is unmanifested state where there are no forms. All the forms are not there. The root cause for all the forms is this unmanifested state. But in the stage of pralaya, or in the stage when now everything is being withdrawn, what happens? All these forms go and disappear into this particular unmanifested spirit. Means everything will become unmanifest. All the forms are disappearing. All the things are disappearing. They are getting back into that original unmanifested spirit. So this is what will happen at the time of withdrawal. Withdrawal means when everything is going back to the source. So everything is coming out from that source, which is unmanifested spirit. Unmanifested spirit. Everything is the coming out of that, and so that unmanifested spirit is the root cause of it. And all these forms, after existing for some time, for a long duration, they're getting back to the source. All the forms are disappearing. Again, it gets back to the old stage of unmanifested spirit. This is what is being mentioned. So, annihilation, and when it is being withdrawn, all the forms get back into that particular unmanifested spirit. All motion must cease forever. There's no movement. Everything is gone. No motion, no movement. Everything disappears. Absolutely in great silence, the entire thing moves back to the source. This is something which is described by the Buddhist treatise which he is quoting. Annihilation means that destruction means, as per Buddhistic philosophy, dispersal of matter. Annihilation means, as per Buddhistic philosophy, dispersal of matter. Whenever matter is disposed of or dispersed, means spread in various places or thrown into various places, that is annihilation. Annihilation means, as per Buddhistic philosophy, dispersal of matter. Dispersal means being thrown into various places. That is annihilation. When dispersed matter takes a form or something resembling a form. So all this dispersal which is taking place, all those disposed of atoms or dispersed atoms, they take some form or something like a form, resembling a form or something like a looking like a form, because some are concrete forms, some are not so concrete forms. So something resembling a form also is a form. But whatever shape is created, that form will perish. So this is the Maya which Buddhism is talking about. All forms are temporary, including the man's body, physical body. Even the astral body goes. Only the spirit remains. So every form, whatever comes out of that unmanifested spirit, if it is a form, it has to disappear. If it has survived for some time, at least at the time of withdrawal, at the time of pralaya, all these forms get back to that unmanifested state, and it is huge silence is there, big silence is there, there is no movement, everything is withdrawn into that particular spirit, which is again becomes unmanifest. From again that unmanifested state, manifestation takes place. This is what is being discussed. Annihilation means, as per Buddhistic philosophy, dispersal, dispersal, not disposal, dispersal of matter. When dispersed, matter takes a form or something resembling a form. Okay, if whatever shape is created, that form will perish. This is again the statement which was made some time back also. See, the form, the dispersal of matter enables the form being taken, and once the form is taken, the form has to perish. From assuming a permanent structure is an illusion. Form assuming a permanent structure is an illusion. So form can never be eternal. Form assuming a permanent structure is an illusion. So form will always perish. We cannot imagine form will be permanent. That's what it means. Form assuming a permanent structure is an illusion. It's not possible. That's what it means. Form cannot be eternal. Only the spirit can be eternal. But what is the spirit before manifestation? It is not having anything but capability of producing everything. So when it comes out of that, all the forms are coming. All the forms, when they are formed, they're definitely again perishing. So if they are not perishing, if they're existing for a long time, at the time of withdrawal, all these things become motionless and gets drawn back into that source. And again, that source becomes unmanifested spirit. This is what the Buddhist philosophy is talking about. So whenever the dispersal of matter is taking place, that is taking a form, resembling a form. Whenever again a form is happening, whenever a form is coming into existence, that will also perish. This is what the Buddhist philosophy is talking about. Form assuming a permanent structure is an illusion. So it's not possible for matter to stand eternally. So form is always temporary. As Buddha keeps reiterating, because he keeps on talking about this, eternity has no beginning or an end. Ananta. Eternity has no beginning or an end. So eternity is something which is always there, but matter cannot be eternal. The spirit is eternal. Matter always gets destroyed. Not completely though, but the form is gone. All the forms are gone, but the matter will survive in some form or the other, but then the forms are all destroyed. Whenever there is a form, the form becomes temporary, form becomes impermanent, form gets destroyed. Buddha keeps reiterating, eternity has no beginning or an end. All the forms we have seen are familiar. All the forms which we have seen, which are familiar to us. I think they are again coming back to this again and again. All the forms we have seen or we are familiar with will disappear. And some forms do disappear forever. Some forms again don't come back in the same way. That form is gone forever. So that's what this is being talked. That's the only difference here in this sentence. All the forms we have seen or we are familiar with will disappear, and some forms do disappear forever. That means some forms will never take the same shape again. They are gone forever. But some forms, they come back in the same shape. Maybe there are new forms which will come. But whatever may be the shape of forms, whatever may be, it is coming out of prototype. That means it is coming back again in the same way. But the some, completely the prototype also is destroyed. So there's no form. So some forms which we have seen or familiar with disappear, and some forms do disappear forever. Means always, forever. Forever means never it will come back. The shape is gone forever. Like a fashion changes and you don't get back to the same fashion. The same way, the form disappears forever. But some forms do come back. What is the duration for us? What is duration for us is only relevant to us. Duration means the period of time when this form is in existence or this Srishti is in existence. What is duration for us is only relevant to us, relative to us. But to the ultimate, everything, every form disappears in a flash. For us, it is relevant and relative because we know it is existing for some time, maybe 100 years, 200 years, maybe 2000 years. The form is there. Let us assume it. That duration for us is only relevant to us. That is more important to us because the form is, say, it is living for 200 years. That's relevant. And to the ultimate, everything, every form disappears in a flash. For him, time is something which is unimaginable speed. It happens. Whenever the disappearance has to take place, it happens at unimaginative speed. But to the ultimate, everything, every form disappears in a flash. The time taken by us for flashing an eyelid is enough. So this is what it is. The time taken by us for flashing an eyelid or closing and opening an eyelid, that time is good enough for all the things to disappear from the universe. That is what the time sense which the ultimate being has. Whereas our time sense is different. Our time sense is different. Our relative estimate of the time is different. So what is duration for us is one thing, and what is duration or disappearance as far as the ultimate being is concerned is a different thing. What is the way in which all these forms are withdrawn? But the ultimate, everything, every form disappears in a flash. It goes in a flash. So I don't think there is going to be any amount of suffering or anything like that. Simply all the forms disappear. So where is the question of suffering? Everybody disappears in a second. Nothing, no problem. So that's what happens. So when the withdrawal takes place, every form disappears in a flash. The time taken by us for batting an eyelid or flashing an eyelid, that's the time taken by the ultimate for seeing that all the forms disappear. Buddha says the form passes as if an instantaneous flash of lightning. Buddha says the form passes as if an instantaneous flash of lightning. So we see lightning in the sky, isn't it? How much time is it there? It is there in a flash. It is there and it's gone. So in that quick sense of time, the entire creation, all the forms, everything gets absorbed or they disappear. This is what Buddha is saying. And perhaps that's how everything works. The withdrawal takes place like that. Buddha says the form passes as if an instantaneous flash of lightning. Instantaneous means just a second. Instant means just a second. Instantaneous flash of lightning. Just 1 second it is there. The next second it is not there. In that 1 second, all these forms disappear when the universal being decides to withdraw all these forms. So according to Buddha, our astral bodies are pure ether. According to Buddha, our astral bodies are pure ether. They are illusion of matter. So they're not physical matter, all right, but they're of ether. So they retain the terrestrial or earthly outline of physical form. This is something which is relevant to us, I guess. If someone wants to see an astral body, how does the astral body look like? It is made of ether, all right, pure ether, means it's a vapor-like thing. They are illusions of matter. They look like matter, but they're not matter. They're illusions of matter. They retain the terrestrial or earthly outline of physical form. So someone sees his astral body, he'll be able to see an outline of physical form. So that's what it is said. Even Theosophy says that. There used to be a person living in Adyar by name Enrique Fernandez Orfila, who is also well known to Professor K.V.K. Nehru. We also know him because we used to see the gentleman going on his bicycle from our younger days. Enrique Fernandez Orfila. He's a Spaniard, and he had a lot of these experiences. So he says, astral body almost looks like this physical body. That's what he used to describe. But then one day when he was walking in his astral body, he saw another body approaching, which was almost looking like him, but it was melting. He says, this is something very interesting. We as youngsters, we lapped it up because it was some very interesting topic he was talking about. And he said he was walking or he was traveling in his astral body. As he was doing that, he could see another body almost looking like the same thing, but it has one extra quality. It was melting. That was coming in the opposite direction. He didn't know what it was. Hey, I'm here traveling in astral body. My physical body is there sleeping on the ground. And what is this third one? Then he realized that is his mental body. That's his mental body, which is still lighter. He says it was melting. It was melting like snow. It was melting. So that's what it is. He described it like that. So he saw it like that. He had very interesting stories to tell about his past life and all that. And very interesting person. K.V.K. Nehru used to live in the campus of IIT Guindy. And this man used to live in the campus, Adyar. Both used to have the same dream. Both used to get the same dream. They used to exchange notes the next evening when they meet each other. So that's something very interesting, isn't it? So both are related to each other. That's one thing. And then there used to be another person by the name Peter Hoffman. Peter Hoffman is from New Zealand. And this Enrique Fernandez Orfila is from Spain. Both look alike. They are very, very, very similar in their look, physical appearance. And Enrique Fernandez Orfila says, both of us are brothers in our past lives. And for both of us, the mother was also common because naturally we're brothers. Our mother was one. And that mother, they identified her as Rukmini Devi Arundel. So many interesting things he used to say. Maybe he was a bit of a clairvoyant, one who could see, one who could travel in the astral body and all that. And this will be interesting information because otherwise we went through a lot of theory which was very difficult to follow. That's what I felt as I was taking notes. It was very difficult for me to even take notes. It was tough time I had trying to take notes because the concept of this form, perishable, imperishable, spirit and all that, that's a bit dry. So I just thought I'll add these tidbits so that it becomes interesting. Enrique Fernandez Orfila, he was a person who served in the army and he always likes to sleep using a mosquito net. He always likes to use a mosquito net and sleep because the place where he used to live, the Leadbeater Chambers, is very close to the Adyar River. And so a number of mosquitoes are there at Adyar during a particular season and perhaps every night also. So he always would try to sleep using a mosquito net. And he says so many times he woke up in his dream and tore that mosquito net and came out. He must have destroyed at least a dozen of them. That's what he said. Dozen of those mosquito nets he has destroyed by tearing it and coming open and jumping out of the mosquito net. And we asked him, why did you do that? What was the reason why you did that? He says in his previous life, he was choked to death. He was not allowed to breathe. So they were putting pressure on him, perhaps pressing his throat or something like that, and was about to be killed like that. So every time he was tried, or every time people tried killing him like that, he used to escape by jumping out of the bed. So that's what exactly he's doing even now, and destroying so many mosquito nets, 12, 13 mosquito nets he has destroyed. So these are things which are very, very interesting, very relevant to the form and to the spirit and to the past lives. And Brother Nehru also had very good association with him. And of course, we as youngsters, we also went around him and talked to him. Whenever he took us to beach, we used to sit there. He had a peculiar accent, like Omar Sharif had an accent, which is very different. It's not good English, but then we could follow what he was talking. But he was full of information, especially about astral world, about the travels he has done in the astral world and all that. Okay. This is, by the way, I just took you away so that we get a bit of relief. According to Buddha, our astral bodies are pure ether. They're illusions of matter. They retain the terrestrial or earthly outline of physical form. This is where I took off. It looks like our physical form. The astral bodies also look like our physical form. The astral body changes according to the merits or demerits. That is how we've been told that the astral body gets formed. Because the way we lived our physical life, that would determine how our astral body will take shape. So if the merits and demerits of the astral body is dependent on how I live my life with the physical body. So if the physical body has been abused, so it has a different form. It is more a coarser astral body. If it has been living a life which is pious, which is more towards meditation and all that, that astral body will be very, very thin. You'll be able to break through the astral body and go to the next plane much easier, depending on how you lived here in the physical plane. So, or the astral body changes according to the merits or demerits. That is how we have led, that depends on how we have led our physical life. This is how the metempsychosis works. Metempsychosis means metempsychosis, METEM, psychosis, PSYCHOSIS, metempsychosis, meaning the transmigration of soul after death. The transmigration of soul after death. So the transmigration is always after once you have individualized, you get another birth of an individual only as a human. Question of getting back to the animal kingdom is not there. But then moving out of this body, taking another shape, all this will take place. And this is metempsychosis, meaning the transmigration of soul after death. When the spirit in man breaks loose forever from every particle of matter, only then that entity enters upon the course of nirvana. Man breaks loose. When the spirit in man breaks loose, when the spirit completely escapes from the body, escapes from the man, completely breaks loose from the body forever, that means there is no particle of matter left in him. There is no particle of matter left in him. Absolutely, there is nothing of matter left in him. Then what happens? That entity enters upon the course of nirvana. Buddhists talk about nirvana, we talk about Jivan Mukta state. That is the same thing. So they talk about nirvana. That nirvana is possible when there is absolutely no form or no remnants of form. If there is a remnant of form, if there is some attachment of form in the possibility of any of these astral or lower mental or higher mental, if there is any possibility of the quality of life we have led, we'll have to come back to earth. Why we will not come back to earth is absolutely there is no connection between the matter, the way I lived here, and the spirit has completely got rid of matter. Then it is on the road to nirvana. It enters the road of nirvana. That state of nirvana is eternal, unchangeable. That state of nirvana is eternal and unchangeable. He only will exit in spirit. He will exist in spirit, means Spiritually, he is available. Body is not there. Not even a semblance of a particle of a body, material form is there with him. So he exists only in spirit and not attached to any form or shape or even a semblance of a form. Semblance of a form. That form at that point of time is lost and there is no death afterwards. There is no birth. So where is the question of death? So he's reached a stage of nirvana. If there is a form, there is death. No form, no death. That's what it is. Spirit is not illusion, says HPB. It is a reality. Spirit is not illusion and it is reality. And it is past of this illusory universe and passes forever to become part of the universal spirit. That's what it is. The individual spirit will become part of the universal spirit. That is the journey. So that's what we are not part of this illusion of the universe. The universe which is appearing as Maya, we are not part of this. We are actually part of the actual universe and our spirit should go and get merged with the universal spirit. We'll stop here. The universal spirit is something where that is our goal, that is our aim. We have to reach that. I don't know. Because the topic of form getting destroyed, annihilation of matter, we can't completely destroy the matter, only the form gets destroyed, and some forms disappear forever. All this information is very interesting, all right. Everything is interesting, but I tell you, this the way she has taken us from one subject to another subject, that's where the jumping is taking place from one subject to another subject. That's where a bit of confusion is possible, because she talked about Plato and then came to Buddha, things like that. That's where I'm saying. Plato and Buddha, they agreed on so many things. Perhaps that's the reason why Platonian, Pythagorean, Buddhist philosophies are one and the same. And I have a feeling whatever they have said about what they have said in Buddhism also is part of what is being said in the Sanatana Dharma. So all these truths are one and the same. We call it in different names. That's it. Nehru, whether he traveled, I do not know, but the gentleman who used to meet Mr. Nehru, Mr. Enrique Fernandez Orfila, he says he has traveled a lot. So he was someone who had specialized perhaps in the astral travel. It is escaping every day. We are not conscious of it. That's the problem. We are consciously taking it somewhere. That is one thing. Unconsciously, it is happening every night. Every night it's happening. The astral body is getting out of our physical body. But that is unconscious. But consciously, how can you take it to see that the work which you want to do with the astral body, we can accomplish? That is the key. That is how we have to work.